welcome everyone. I'm seeing some new names here. Welcome to the Tech Huddle today. Our presenter is Claudio from Munevo. And as I've mentioned a couple times, coming to us from Germany. Had an opportunity to talk with him, what was it, a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
And kind of get an overview, and felt like this was something that would be of great interest to folks here. So with that, Claudio, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. I just checked and it said host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Got it. Okay. Let me. Okay, you should be good now.
Yes. Awesome.
Sorry about that.
See. Oh, don't worry.
Perfect. And while he gets that loaded up, I did forget, as he's presenting today, obviously you were all on mute because we're recording this. Please feel free to use the chat or the Q&A to ask any questions. And Claudio, I'll be keeping an eye on that for you. And when there's a question, I will pop my face back up here on the screen. But with that, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. So if I just click here on resume sharing, you should all see my screen, right?
Yes, we do.
All right. Awesome. Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I really, yeah, like Dustin said, like we met a couple of weeks ago. We discussed this opportunity, and I was really happy that like I was invited then to share the story behind what I'm doing. So my background is that I studied business and computer science here at the Technical University of Munich. I was born in Romania, migrated to Germany when I was 7 years old after the revolution impacted Romania quite heavily. And here in Germany, I studied. I studied also in the US, in sunny San Diego as well. I studied in Australia. And during my studies, we started this project, and here's where I want to start with this big number, which is 1.3 billion people live with one form of disability, and that is visible disabilities, but also non-visible disability. So that makes it the largest community to be impacted. Now, right now, there's like a huge question around mobility, right? We're all sitting at home right now, impacted by isolation or by lockdowns and everything. And most of all, for people with disabilities, it's a far even greater question. Some might say that like they have already been like adapting to this from the beginning on. Some have also still some challenges. But there's lots of things that can impact your mobility. And in our case, it's most of all muscular diseases, for example, multiple sclerosis, ALS, but also car accidents or accidents in general that could lead to a spinal cord injury. And these kind of diseases, most of the time, can be very impactful. They can be so impactful that at some point you're not even able to move your hands anymore. So people have to rely on wheelchairs, and when people cannot even control the wheelchair, there are devices that are currently used, for example, here in this picture, where you see a lot of things around the person's face. In this case, her name is Andrea, and she has multiple devices that she uses to control the wheelchair. For example, a joystick in front of her chin, or a sip and puff joystick to control the computer, or other buttons or a stick or whatever. So these are kind of the current status quo solutions for people with disabilities that have been impacted to a very severe level. And this is Dirk. So Dirk is one of our users.
Claudio, I think that you may be showing us the, we're not seeing you advance the slides. It looks like we're just seeing the, with the little thumbnails on the left.
So maybe I just need to
share the whole desktop, maybe. I'm not sure.
Because if I click on resume share, it's not resuming. So that's maybe why. Just let me stop sharing. Sorry for that.
No, that's okay. It's all right. Zoom has made so many changes recently that it's, yeah.
Okay, let me see. Now you should see my desktop.
That is perfect. We can see the slides full screen now.
Ah, okay. So I started off here and then you didn't see this one?
We did not, no.
All right. And you also didn't see this one, but
Correct.
that's okay. I hope you could follow me. If not, the
Yeah.
last slide that I was on was like speaking about Andrea, who is using these kind of devices. So just to give you some time to again like understand what's happening when people cannot use their hands anymore, is that like they get these devices built on top of the wheelchair. So it's also very static, and people kind of have to adapt to the solution instead of the solution adapting to the user, which is, yeah, kind of like how it's supposed to be. And to jump back to Dirk, Dirk is one of our users. He has been traveling the world. He has been working for one of the largest corporations here in Munich. And at some point, he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And with multiple sclerosis, it's very different because like you start with the disease as like a normal person that can still walk, that can still like do all the things that we used to do. But then after some time, you get like some pushes, and the more advanced the disease is, which is progressing, is that at some point you have to sit in a wheelchair, and at some point you cannot control that wheelchair. And here you see Dirk as like the difference between Andrea and Dirk is here that Dirk has a smart glass on, and the smart glass is basically the center of what we're doing here at Munevo. We created the first ever control system that can use a smart glass to enable the user to control the wheelchair, but not only controlling the wheelchair, but all the devices around them. The way it works is that, oh, sorry, this should be before. But the way it works is very simple. Inside the smart glass, you have integrated sensors, and those sensors can track the movement of the user's head. Sometimes people would also argue that it looks like you're controlling the wheelchair with the eyes, but the reason why they think is that like the glass can be calibrated in a very sensitive manner. So we had people that could only like move an inch with their head, but that could have been already be calibrated to allow the user to move into that direction. So we developed the whole concept around driving and around the calibration, which is the cornerstone of the innovation, because before, as you saw the devices before here, like calibration was basically manual. So people would come and like try to like push the buttons more closer to the face and all of that. And also from time to time, people would change their seating position. And that would mean that again, the solution, the mechanical solution has to be adapted and like pushed again. And like oftentimes they would break things rather than like adapt it. And that is something that like is very valuable for our users, that they can be able to self-calibrate this solution, and they can do that within like 10 to 20 seconds. It's inside the smart glass. It's a small menu that they can reach with voice, with head controls to reach that menu item and select it, and then do the calibration according to their new seating position, according to their new situation in life, because like I said, it's a progressive disease. So sometimes you have a better day, sometimes you have worse days where you just have little more head movements to the left or to the right. So calibration is key. Now you also see here a small display and a small camera, and we created the audiovisual system that lets people be guided through a small menu, driving, settings, add-ons, and all of these things, so that like it really becomes like a platform in the end. Just to give you again like a short outlook around the current solution. So you saw the chin control joystick that's on the left side. There's also again head erase, which is similar to the buttons that you saw before. And there's another device that is called sip and puff, where people have a straw in their mouth, and by putting air pressure inside the straw, they could like control different things. But just again to summarize it, it's very limiting in the end. It's hard to adapt, and most of the time also people feel very stigmatized. So you wouldn't necessarily see people like this like all around the city and like driving around in the wheelchair, because they often feel very ashamed to have this kind of stigmatized thing in front of their faces. And here's what we envision as the future. The glasses have already become like a means to control different things. It's not just like controlling the wheelchair anymore, but it's already connected to robotic arms. We're doing also a lot of research to connect it to many other devices like an exoskeleton here. But as of now, the glass can already connect to different environments, to the computer, to the TV, to your phone. So you can do lots of other things with it, not just like controlling the wheelchair. And at the same time, it enables the people to be free from the wheelchair. Most of the time when you have to, be transferred from the wheelchair to the bed or to a sofa or to a chair, you most of the time don't have any access anymore to those joysticks in your face because they're static. They have to stay on the wheelchair. So with the glass now on top of your head as a wearable device, you can have it everywhere you go and you can connect to anything around you, which makes it far greater and like far easier to access functions like, for example, the smart home functions to be able to control the TV, the blinds, the heaters, and all of that. And that's currently where we're also focusing to connect to the whole environment. And as you may know, like the smart home environment, there's so many devices, so many hubs. So our journey right now is like focusing the different smart home providers and trying to have integrations with all the smart home providers. Here's just our vision of basically the platform idea of the smart glass that can control all of the things around you. And I think that's also about it. So I want to like end with like a short story about also Dirk right now, who is now very happy to be able to be completely free. I think if you go to our website, you will also see him in the video. But what was most important and impactful for me, and also when I started this journey, is that I was never in that direction of going into medical or healthcare or people with disabilities. But like as soon as like I listened to the stories of people like Dirk and people like Andrea, and I have many more stories around like amazing people that like can draw portraits of you just by using their mouths and draw a portrait of you. It's just simply amazing, and that's what kept me motivating and has like impacted me to a very large amount that like we've been like doing these amazing things at Munevo with the team and with everyone. But most importantly, it's because like we had the users and people with disabilities from the beginning joining this journey, and they in the end like impacted and motivated us, and we motivated them. So it was like a give and take for everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to end on that note. So
Yes,
thank you.
I think that you said it very well, that what you are doing is amazing. I mean, I have not seen anything this sophisticated, and I understand that the amount of work that you guys are going to have to put into the integration into all of these different siloed smart home platforms. That's a big job. It's a very big job. So, and is the product commercially available today
Yes.
in the United States?
So not in the United States. For that, we're still missing the FDA approval, which shouldn't take us so long because we did an amazing work already here in Europe, where we have already all the certification. We even did a fully official clinical trial that has never been done before, and we're the first ones to do this. So we have a lot of data, we have a lot of validation. We did extensive testing on the hardware and on the software, which has to be completely safe and secure. And we already had some discussions in the US with like dealers, distributors, manufacturers who are interested in like helping us to guide us through the certain steps and so on. So it's just a matter of time and a matter of like how the situation evolves around the COVID pandemic. But we're quite positive that like either this or next year we'll be there, because I went there and I just bumped into like an amazing guy in a wheelchair during one conference. His name is Ryan, and he's a motivational speaker. He has no arms, no legs, and he's going into schools and providing like motivational speeches for the children with disabilities. And he has become our first ambassador. He's from Detroit, so you'll probably see more of him in our videos soon to come.
Great. Well, we do have a question from Lisa. The big
Sure.
question: what's the cost?
What's the cost? Very good question. So the cost in the end is semi-relevant. What we managed to do, and it's because it's a medical product, within Germany, Switzerland, and Austria already, the product is reimbursed 100% by healthcare insurances. So we try to achieve that in every European country. And so far it looks very, very good, because like we not only create that impact for the patient, but we also have certain points in place that will allow for budget savings or cost savings for the healthcare systems. Now, this is a more trickier question. It takes us some time to get into the workflow of the healthcare systems. And for the US, it will be similar. So that's our number one goal, that the user will not be having to pay for this out of the pocket, but like it will be covered to one form of like healthcare insurance. And we already discussed this with Medicare and Medicaid and one of the dealers, that there is this possibility of getting it reimbursed even in the US.
Yes. Great. Yes, that is, and I typically wouldn't say this on a tech huddle, but again, if you ever need help with that, that is an area that I've had some experience. I'm happy to point you in the right direction if needed. So any other questions for Claudio?
I think there is another question. Unfortunately, I missed from Leah Barrett. She missed the beginning of the presentation. I think we recorded it, right? So
we do have it recorded, and the recordings will all be placed into the members area at disabilitycocoon.com, where you can also see other past tech huddles. Awesome. And if this is of specific interest to you, just shoot me an email, Dustin@disabilitycocoon.com, and I can get you connected, or you can connect directly with Claudio there. So any other questions? Thank you very much for your time today and doing this amazing presentation. I know it is, what is it, 5 o'clock your time?
It's 6:20 right now.
6:20. It sounds like it's time to go to the beer garden. So we will not keep you on here, but I just wanted to thank you again for your time and for doing this presentation. Very well done. For those of you that are listening, we do have other tech huddles scheduled in the future. You can find all of those at disabilitycocoon.com. Claudio, thank you very much. Amazing work you're doing. Can't wait to see you bring this to the US.
Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone. And if you have more questions, just reach out to either my phone number is there, my email is there, LinkedIn or any other platform. I'd be happy to help if you have more questions. And I was happy to be here.